The war ended, and the world didn't go back to the way it was. World War II had ended, but what changed didn't end with it, because for the first time, America had clearly seen what dogs could do, not just at home, not just on farms and in yards, but in war, under pressure, when it mattered most. And that didn't stay on the battlefield. It came home and into how dogs were now trained, how they were cared for, how they were understood. This is where the modern dog begins, not in one moment, but in everything that changed after.
In the years after World War II, America began to rebuild, and dogs came with it. Suburbs expanded, homes spread out, yards became part of everyday life, and for many dogs, that meant space. They were still outside more than inside, still guarding, still watching, still part of the property, but something was different. They weren't just there to work anymore. They were there to stay. Families who had lived through war, who had seen what dogs could do, began to see them differently, not just useful, but meaningful. At the same time, the pet industry began to take shape. Commercial dog food became more consistent, moving from scraps and leftovers to something you could buy, store, and rely on. Veterinary care continued to grow. Clinics became more common. Care became more structured. Vaccinations, especially for rabies, became more expected, more routine. But the shift had started. Dogs were no longer just part of the household. They were becoming part of the family, and that change would only accelerate. What started after the war didn't slow down. By the 1970s into the 1990s, the American dog had moved from the yard into the house. More and more, dogs were inside, sleeping near the family, living as part of daily life. And with that shift, everything around them changed. What they ate became consistent. Commercial dog food wasn't just available, it became the standard, formulated, packaged, designed specifically for dogs. Veterinary care became routine. Annual visits, vaccinations, prevention, not just treating illness, but maintaining health. And for the first time, there was structure around ownership. Leash laws became more common. Licensing became expected. Control wasn't optional anymore. It was part of responsibility. Training changed too, not just for work, but for behavior. Obedience classes, commands, expectations for how a dog should live within a home. And as all of this grew, so did the idea behind it. Dogs weren't just present anymore, they were integrated into routines, into homes, into families. And once that shift happened, there was no going back. And then everything accelerated. By the early 2000s into today, the American dog wasn't just part of the home, it was at the center of it. Dogs moved from the floor to the couch to the bed. They traveled, went to stores, showed up in places they had never been before, and the way we cared for them changed with it. Veterinary care expanded far beyond the basics. There were specialists now. Emergency clinics open 24 hours. Surgeons, dermatologists, oncologists, and even virtual care, where a vet could be reached without ever leaving home. Preventive care became expected. Vaccines, parasite control, routine testing, medicine advanced. Treatments that once didn't exist now extended life, improved quality of life, and with that came something new: planning. Pet insurance, designed to help manage the cost of care. Different types: accident only, illness coverage, comprehensive plans. A reflection of something deeper. Dogs were no longer treated as replaceable. They were worth investing in. What they ate changed too. From standard kibble to premium formulas, to raw diets, to customized nutrition. Food became personal, and beyond care, lifestyle took over. Clothing, accessories, seasonal gear, not just for function, but for identity, because the modern American dog wasn't just living in the home, it was part of how people lived, and that meant something else entirely. This wasn't just ownership anymore, it was relationship. And then, dogs became something else entirely. America had always had famous dogs, from Lassie to Toto. Dogs had been part of entertainment for decades, recognizable, loved, remembered. But something changed. The spotlight didn't belong to just a few anymore. With the rise of platforms like Instagram and TikTok, any dog could become known. Not through studios, not through networks, but through everyday life. Dogs with personalities, with routines, with audiences. Followers turned into communities, and communities turned into something more: brands. Dogs representing products, wearing clothing, showcasing food, driving entire businesses. Not just pets, not just companions, but identities for their owners, for their audiences, for a culture that had fully embraced them. And alongside that visibility, something else was happening. The way dogs looked was starting to change. Breeding trends, preferences, new combinations, not just based on function anymore, but on lifestyle. And that shift would define the next chapter. All of it, from the battlefield to the backyard to the living room. It led here. The American dog didn't change in one moment. It changed in layers. Work, then companionship, then integration, then identity. From something that lived beside us to something that lives with us, fully, cared for, planned for, protected, shaped not by just what dogs are, but by what we want them to be. And that's where the next shift begins. Because once dogs became part of our lifestyle, we didn't just change how they lived, we started changing how they were made. New mixes, new preferences, new expectations, not just for what a dog could do, but for how a dog should fit into our lives.
There wasn't a single moment where everything changed. It happened over time, from dogs that worked beside us, to dogs that lived with us, to dogs that became part of how we live, what they eat, how they're cared for, where they sleep, how long they live. All of it built over generations. And now the American dog isn't just part of the home, it helps define it. Because when you look at dogs today, what they are, how they live, what we expect, you're not just seeing animals. You're seeing us, our choices, our priorities, our lifestyle. And where we take it next, that's a choice too. Because through all of it, through all of the change, we didn't move apart. We moved closer. but we have always been a pack. In our final episode of this series, we discuss not one dog, as in previous companion episodes, but a type, a breed. We talk about the Doodle.
This is America 250, the dogs. This has been episode 12.